Hey guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for Married to Medicine, season, what is this, 5 or 4? Jesus, season 5, episode 4, Black Girl Magic or Black Girl Tragic. Technically, it starts off with Dr. Jackie, because we saw a couple of little scenes with everyone else, but it really starts with Dr. Jackie. She's at work, she has a patient, everything's going well with the patient, but the patient goes and brings up, oh yeah, and are you doing okay? It's like, I know, little things that are going on in the news. I just wanted to check on you and see if you're okay. And I'm like, oh, this is so unrealistic. But then again, I had to look at this like, actually, it really isn't, because I could see that happening. I really could. And it's messed up. And the patient did give Jackie good advice, though. She was just like, look, don't really worry about what anyone else is. Like, everyone's advice is cute and that's great, but the focus should be on you. So don't focus too much on everyone else. So I said, okay, that was nice. We're going to move on to Toya. Toya talks to her husband and needs to go and figure out, well, she acknowledges that how she is as a person strongly resembles things that she had to go through as a child because of all the stupid stuff that her father was doing and also involving her in when it came to, him cheating and her essentially hiding his cheating, and so then her distrust for men and her unnecessary distrust towards her husband, who hasn't shown her any signs ever that he was even doing anything to make her feel any type of way. But then it kind of parlays into how she kind of feels a certain way about they're not having sex. And that's tough for her because he's doing self-love, self-pleasure. And they get into this weird conversation about him. It's like, oh, well, do you envision me? Do you envision me when you do that? He said, oh, yeah, it's not like I have a picture of you, or it's not like I have a picture of old girlfriends when I do it. It's just that, I go poof, poof, pass, and I'm done. And she just kind of feels like, well, but you're not, where the intimacy issue is there, but she doesn't really bring it up with him at that time. We hear this from her a little bit later. Everyone has problems, because next we have Quad and her husband. She makes this, that food did look good. I'll give it to Quad, that food looked good. She made this sea bass along with over a bed of rice, along with some corn on the cob. I mean, it looked like it was grilled corn on the cob. It looked good, it looked flavorful. That was definitely like a lemon sauce of some kind. And she's kind of sharing with her husband how that whole thing with Dr. Jackie and her husband is just messing with her. It's just messing with her. And what's really messing with her is the fact that her own husband essentially co-signed with the fact that, well, maybe, because again, he's friends with Dr. Jackie's husband, so that makes things even worse. But it's still like a common sense thing. He's trying to go and say how, and he was like, I know you're going to get really upset with me, but he was essentially saying how he understands how that happened. She wasn't appreciating him. She wasn't showing him any affection. He was jumping up and down trying to get his wife's attention, and she wasn't doing it. And so that's why, and so with him doing that, it's just, and Quad was like, no. And Quad was real, and at first I said, oh, okay, this is just a scene, but I said, no, this is jumping the shark. This is starting to jump the shark a little bit, because it flipped from just, okay, what are you talking about, to, so you're really trying to tell me, as in, because of course, Quad's the wife, so you are saying this to me about cheating. You're essentially trying to justify this and justify why a man would cheat and how you can just see it for yourself. And it started to sound like, well, it's just, if I'm not getting the attention, the affection, gonna get from somewhere. And here's my issue. Why are we acting like Dr. Jackie didn't acknowledge the fact that she wasn't doing that for her husband? She was trying. She was trying, but essentially the only way she could really do that is she would have had to cut back immensely on her job and responsibilities. Let's stop faking it. She would have had to cut back immensely on her jobs and her real passion, true passion in life, which she finally found it. That's what it is. She found her husband when that wasn't the case, when it wasn't nearly as built up and as all-encompassing as it is now. So I understand that her relationship crumbled because of that. We acknowledge that. We're not putting this on him as far as why just the relationship crumbled. No, we know that he was fighting for his wife. But we cannot act like because he was fighting for his wife was trying, but she was ultimately giving her attention towards the business instead of him, that justified him staying in the relationship and wanting to still be married and cheating or trying to do something on the side. If he was really thought that, oh, you know, you weren't doing this, so then I just need to go and do this, he would have been like, look, I'm going to bring someone else into this equation because I can't do this. But no, because he knew the type of woman that he had in the wife, and he knew he had the wife that would go and leave in an instant. And so that's why I can't co-sign any of this. So then it jumps shark, Quad's pissed, and now her husband, they get into the separate altercation. I don't like that word altercation. This separate argument of, now he's trying to say, look, I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand why you're acting like you don't feel appreciated. I don't do for you. Quad was like, look, when it comes to monetary stuff, you essentially don't take my money. And here's my thing. We do know, because he even brought up the point that, let's stop faking this. I do for you. I do everything for you. What are you actually talking about? When I first met you, I was doing for you. And we know that was true. So let's not do that. Quad was pissed. And Quad didn't like the way that she felt like it was coming out. So she wasn't going to go and let him have that one. But we know that that part was true. To a certain degree, that part was true. But Quad, because she slowly built something where she can sustain herself, she's like, I've offered to cover the mortgage on the house. I pay for my own car. I buy my own stuff. Yeah, you get stuff from it too. Yes, you cover the stuff, but it's essentially because you don't let me, because it's a sense of power. So you can do what you're doing right now. But I feel like for him, because he knows he has someone who is so independent-minded, that his way of kind of saying, this is my attention and my affection. I have you this house. I buy you these things. Quad, she's at the point, I'm sure originally she liked it because the relationship was new and fresh, but now she's at the point where that's not enough anymore. And that's important. That is important. She can buy the stuff herself, so now she doesn't care about that stuff. Maybe before she really did, and so that's why he was just in the mindset of, you know, regardless of what happens, I'll get her this, I'll get her that, and then she just goes and be happy, and then it doesn't matter. That's changed. They need a therapist as well, because their relationship has changed. Them as people, maybe not him, but definitely her, has changed. And when that happens, you can't do the same thing that you were doing before that was working. So then we move on to Dr. Simone and her husband. And, you know, he was trying to keep a little lighthearted with the whole, he wasn't wearing any socks. But, again, this is another thing that jumped the shark, where he was mad because that voice was raised. And their main issue is that she feels like he's Mr. Perfect. She feels like her friends, family all love him, that he's just the best thing since sliced bread. But he can't see his own faults. He's saying, I know I have faults, but you go and act like it's just all on me. It's all on me. And Dr. Simone's like, no, I feel like anytime there's an issue, you just flip it and then it goes back to being all on me. And I feel like he kind of proved what she was saying, but she also proved what he was saying. Their relationship is equally screwed up. They've had 20 years of, you know, kind of just burying things, tucking things, not really fixing things. So now they're at the point where their relationship can't sustain that anymore. Their kids are moving out of the house, so there's nothing really there to anchor them anymore. And now they're spending less time with each other, because I'm just going to skip ahead. They're spending less time with each other. He brought up the point that, so here's how your schedule is. Because she said, you know, I make time for you. And she was upset that he is at home. He's watching the TV. He's on the laptop. She comes in and he doesn't really stop what he's doing to go and interact with her. And that hurts her feelings. And she purposely makes sure that she gives him time to go and kind of do something, but he doesn't. She, in turn, from his point of view, is you come home, you get your food, you go into that room, you lock the door, or you close the door, and I'll see you. Wednesday, you go and get your hair done, and you come late, don't see you. You know, one day you're on call, the other day you go in late. It's just all that, and you go with the other house. You make it a point not to really see me, and I believe that, definitely believe that, and I believe that he is just frustrated with, I guess, his way of trying to be there for his wife, even though his wife doesn't feel that way. He's like, he's trying, she doesn't see it. What's the point? Every time we talk, there's a huff. So now their relationship is tattered. Now it's time for Simone. Now, with him saying that we need more time together, Simone clearly wasn't on that tip, because she goes and meets Dr. Jackie, and Dr. Jackie says that her husband's been trying to, has been trying to come back home. It's been 6 weeks. And it's been very hard, but Dr. Simone said, stick to your guns, baby. You're doing this for a reason. One day you're going to look back on this and say, I did this, and I did what I was supposed to do. But she also says she wants to plan a girls' trip, reclaim that black girl magic. Reclaim your power. So all of the ladies, Jackie was like, when you say all of them, so 5, all of them. So, okay, if you say so. And I'm thinking, Simone, you really doing this to avoid your... Now I can believe that what he's saying when he's like, you purposely do things to... It's mutual. I'm sure it's mutual. And that's the problem. That's a huge problem. Dr. Heavenly's talking to her daughter, and Dr. Heavenly's talking about how, she thinks she hurt her friend's feeling as in Toya. She feels like she's offended her. Daughter's like, well, maybe you need to go and make things right and apologize, and just not be so quick to go and jump down people's throats. She didn't phrase it like that, but that's what she's essentially saying. And I'm thinking, this is cute, this is great. You're giving your daughter camera time. I'm sure she's collecting a check, because that does happen on these shows. But I'm also looking at this like, you can't have a sensible conversation with an adult, because then you get a little irked and irritated and you don't listen to them. That's a problem. That's a problem. But I hope this is just more so for getting her daughter exposure, because she wants to do stuff in entertainment. That Emily's not dumb. I feel like that's the angle she's really trying to go. And she's trying to showcase all sides of her daughter to see what she could do entertainment-wise. Now, Contessa, she's talking to Renee, Mama Renee, and Mama Renee's giving her advice based on what's been going on in her circle. Contessa says, look, apparently talked to Dr. Simone. She invited me to this girls' trip. I'm definitely going to go. So far, I think everything's cool. I had this one issue with Heavenly, but it was a quick misunderstanding, and we seem to be good. Mama Renee looked at her like, are you sure, though? Because that's important. Thinking, oh, okay, I guess things are good, versus them being good are two very important distinctions. You need to clarify that. And Renee didn't really want to hear all that, but she said, this is the woman who treats you like her own, so she says, like, she means it, and I appreciate it. I don't like her. I say I like this dynamic. While Dr. Simone's trying to go, pack and go, her husband comes home, and she's like, he's like, I came here to go and get some things. I was a little surprised that you were here. What's good? So I'm packing to go on a girls' trip, to New Orleans. And he said, okay, for how long? When exactly? You realize you've got other responsibilities and some kids and all that. And she said, well, yeah. I was like, we just talked about, you wanted to talk about communication. You didn't let me know any of this. She was like, so do I need to run every little thing through you? No, but just a heads up. I said, all right, she did this on purpose to spite him. And that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's when we hear her say, well, when you go on those golfing trips, I have to hear it from this buddy and that buddy to get all the pieces of information instead of just getting it from you. And the household still runs and the kids still do what they need to do. And he was like, all right, I understand that, but do you think now is a good time with us having these issues, us having time apart? Yes, absolutely. That is how she feels. I'm not saying it's the best choice. I'm just letting you know that's how she feels. And it's just a testament to where their relationship is. The fact that she did that, she didn't tell him, give him the heads up. She's out of there right now. So then the girls are getting ready. Contessa's going to come later. Her daughter had to get brought to the dentist because she broke her tooth. I said, wait, Heavenly, you couldn't give Contessa the hook? See, that's how I know y'all aren't friends yet. That's how I know you're not friends yet. So now they're down there. Contessa, like I said, she's going to come a little bit later. And Heavenly was kind of over that because she thought it was just going to be a Fab Five. And then she realized, oh, so we're just bringing anyone? So this group isn't special, so why am I in it? I said, oh, but Heavenly is funny. I don't care what it says. Heavenly is funny. While they're on the party bus, they're drinking, trying to have a good time, but then they make pacts. Well, Toy said, we're not going to bring up the past. We're just going to move forward. But Dr. Simone said, but this is a trip about reflection so that we can make sure that we are good so that we get home. We bring a different aura and vibe. We knew that Black Girl Magic. We spread it across and all. And then they decided, let's go and say something that we all need to work on. I said, okay, because they're grown. Let's not waste time. Dr. Jackie said, what did Dr. Jackie say? It was, Dr. Heavenly said patience. Everyone clapped like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. She's seeing the light. Dr. Heavenly said, Dr. Heavenly said patience. Dr. Jackie said, essentially something like reclaiming my time. Her issues that she maybe was putting her foot down or something like that. And Dr. Simone, which I said, okay, if you think so. She said she won't yell, especially at her husband. But I feel like that's the only way she knows how to talk half the time. Toya, I don't know what Toya said. But what I do know is Quad, she said nothing. And that kind of irked everyone because it's like, we know you don't think you're perfect, but is it really? This is about being vulnerable for 2.5 seconds. They all said something meaningful, and because you're not trying to give anyone ammunition or anything like that, you can't go and say, yeah, this is something that maybe, or at least brush up on. Come on, we're supposed to be having a group moment. But I guess technically anyone can opt out. So now they show up, and they get to the Michael suite. Michael the angel. I said, oh, the suite. It's just, there's a lot of light. There's a lot of lighter colors. And it was just so heavenly. It was so heavenly. I said, this is cute. I have to say it like that. This is cute. We get to the Lucifer suite. I'm not saying that. I am not staying in that. Because first of all, I had the depiction of Lucifer right on the. Why would I? You doing too much. Simone wanted that Lucifer suite. I could see in her eyes. That suite was a mess. I mean, the tub was basically in the middle of the suite, and it just had a curtain covering it. Dr. Jackie wanted to spray some holy water. Heavenly couldn't get in. That door closed, and Heavenly said, I said, Heavenly, we see each other. We really do right now. But once I saw the food in there, there was a pole. So now Quad was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Here comes Toya, like, well, hello, this is what I'm here for. She goes. I said, Toya, you humped up on that thing. You were ready, Toya. You've been ready for something, though. You've been ready for something, but then she got stuck. She could hold herself up, but she couldn't get up any higher. So then Quad got up on her. I was like, come on. Oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Don't you follow me quickly like that. Don't you do it. When Dr. Jackie said, girl, is there a weight requirement for that? Oh God. You just gotta catch your salties. So Dr. Heavenly came in and said, no, this ain't the move. This ain't the move. Contessa got there, and now that Contessa is there, we have to pick straws. We need to figure out who's going to stay in where. And then I said, oh, Lord. Long story short, Dr. Simone devised a plan. She had one of the taller straws. Anyone else, the two other people who drew the taller straws had to stay in the Lucifer room because she wanted the Lucifer room. I said, "You always a little bit devilish. You know you're a little bit devilish." Poor Jackie. Jackie has to stay in the Lucifer room and she's over it. Along with Toya. Toya was happy, which I'm not surprised about. Now, Dr. Heavenly was irritated that she had to stay in the Michael room with Contessa. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you just said you didn't have a problem with this girl. So why are you acting like you have a problem? Or is that, because you keep saying her name, but I feel like maybe you meant Toya? Because there's no reason for you to have a real issue with Contessa. There just isn't. It doesn't make sense. Apparently Contessa went to school down there, and she had a lot of fun. She had to move off campus because that whole curfew thing was not working for her. So now that they have the drinks, and I didn't know that there was some study linking alcohol to breast cancer. So that's why Jackie never drank. And I said, fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't need that type of reason, but hey. Things take a turn because Toya, which later on she's upset for being messy, does one of the messiest things you can do. She said, so Dr. Jackie, you know, you're getting divorced from your husband cheated on you. I said, okay, I looked at her like, you fixed it to say that. All right. And then she kind of talks about how, here's the thing, from your point of view, do you feel like, because she goes, let's be known that her husband, he, self-love, self-pleasures himself a lot instead of having sex with her. And she feels a certain way because she's not getting that affection from him, and she's the type that appreciates that and wants that in a relationship. So then she was trying to say, Jackie, do you feel like it's the same thing as she? I said, Jackie had to give her multiple bullet points on how this is why it's not. He's not going outside of the marriage. He's not doing something that will potentially bring home diseases. A baby? Like, what are you? Is there something not working in there? Because it switches from that, because Toya was on a tip. I don't know if she was tipsy, but she was on a tip. Because then she went over the quad, like, so I know you got some issues going on with your dude. And Quad didn't want to talk. We already know that Quad is in the mood of exposing herself. She usually isn't, but definitely right now she's not in the mood of exposing herself. And so then they get into a little tiff because Quad doesn't want to talk. Toya said, we're supposed to be friends, so why can't you say that? Part of me is thinking that's partially true, but in this group, I would definitely be apprehensive as well to spew stuff to every individual person. And then it switches over to Heavenly and Contessa for 2.5 seconds, but they acknowledge that, Contessa says, if I have a problem, I'll let you know, because that's what Dr. Simone was saying. If you have a problem with anyone, then let us know. No, I'm the type I would let you know. Then Heavenly takes the bull by the horns, and it's just like, Toya, when you were trying to do the stuff at Jackie's party, it made me feel a certain way, because here I am looking at you thinking that you're trying to go and cause problems. I talked to the girl and she's saying she really doesn't have an issue with me. And so then Toya's like, yeah, here's my thing. Right now I'm upset with you because you called me messy. I'm thinking, is the sky blue? It's the sky blue. I mean, it's black right now, but at some point, can the sky be blue? And she was like, you are messy, but I do value you as a friend. And I know in that moment you were trying to fix it. I didn't know at that moment that you were trying to fix things, but I do know now. So I appreciate you as a friend. I do love you. Look, you're messy, but you have a good heart. And sometimes I just have to take what you say loosely, and we're going to move on. So I'm glad that for now, everyone's fake good. Everyone's fake good because they shouldn't be fighting each other. They shouldn't be arguing with each other. That's what, unfortunately, most of them have their husbands or significant others for. That's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Oh, it's terrible because I feel bad because I know some of these relationships are really going through it. And then with others, I'm just looking at this like, I don't care. When did this stop?